What's cracking? This is Nick Danger, aka Nick Digital, and you are now tuned into the Art of MV. Thanks for watching my video and welcome to my channel. Like, share, subscribe, and all that. Today, just a quick note, a little quick video about both the MV8000 and the MV1 VERSELAB and what I'm working on right now. So let's get on into it. I've been working on some video edits where I'm working with the MV8000 and the MV1 VERSELAB together. I took a little poll about sampling because it's such a powerful sampler, and I noticed that in the different groups people would use it for so many different versions of sampling. I just wanted to see what's the main thing that people do with it. Do people sample, just chop up loops and boom bap samples, or are people, you know, stacking samples with the SMT table, or are people creating their own patches? And I was surprised. Lots of people, of course, sample chop with the vinyl and CDs, and more experienced users also kind of dig into the partial edit menu in the SMT table, layering sounds and messing with the MIDI notes and all that stuff, and kind of making their own sounds like that. I was surprised to find that not many people use the multi-sampler to create custom patches. On the next MV8000 based video, I'm going to actually explore the multi-sampler and the fact that you can create some very, very cool synthesizer sounds. I mean, analog sounding stuff with this thing. I mean, you can create a lot of synth sounds with this thing. Check it out. Synthesizing may not be its forefront, the feature that's in the forefront. It's not its main feature, but man, this thing can get down as a synthesizer. And in addition to being able to synthesize and create patches, you create patches out of samples, making basically sample packs. So I went into, one of the superpowers of the 8000 is that it can read old floppy disk. So I actually had, a while back, I had some floppies from when I had an MPC, and I was actually able to save some work. And yeah, so I took this phrase, 2, 3, this is a 16 bar loop, right? Let me get down to where I created the patch. So I went and created a patch, and I got these samples that are the same sample broke down into 12 parts. Even soloed some parts out. Then I got it where I got two just chopped into two sections, so they're 8 bars apiece. Beats up. just love that TB303 sound thing and those horns. I just love that shit. Anyway, I've made that into a patch in itself, and I'm gonna actually mess around synthesizing samples, as I mentioned before. So that's the 8000, and that's what I want to note on the 8000, is that people seem to only use it for a very narrow set of sample duties, where it can really be used for a variety of ways to sample. So, I mean, from making your own patches from scratch to making a sample into a patch, and then just making a whole loop kit based off of that. So we're going to get deep into that, and I actually work with the 8000 and the VerseLab together by running the MV8000 through the inputs of the MV1 VerseLab and piping this sound into my Zen Beats. 3 reasons you should really get into using the Zen Beats app with the MV1 VerseLab. So the MV1 VerseLab came integrated with an app. Now, mind you, it's kind of like a DAW, but Roland makes sure to not really call this DAW a DAW. They don't call Zen Beats a DAW at all. They just call it a musical app, right? But its relationship to VerseLab is extensive. And when you're now let me preface this with saying that I know a lot of people will say they work on something like the VerseLab as a standalone or an all-in-one because they don't want to work on a computer, and I can understand that. But when you're looking at this tiny screen and you're having to deal with one track at a time, you can only use the parameters of one track at a time, and lots of these parameters are several clicks away. If you have the Zen Beats up, as I have right now, all the things that you're clicking the value dial to access are right here in front of your eyes, and if you can see it and hear it, it just makes the workflow that much better. In addition to that, the workflow moves faster, because instead of doing certain things to get to, like, say, copy clips, you just basically hit this, flip over this clip mode, and start dragging and dropping these things and auditioning them however you want them, right? Another thing is that a problem that people are having, or that they're running into, and it's not really a problem at all, it's something that's easy to overlook. Lots of people get their songs and they go through MIXDOWN mode and they do all these things, and they come back and say, hey, if anybody knows how to make the VerseLab louder, duh, it's a limiter sitting here on the main track. It's a 5-band EQ sitting right here on the main output. Multi-band compressor on the main output. M effects with what? Low boost, phonograph, an exciter, all the things you need to do proper gain staging and proper tightening up of your tracks are right here in front of your face. Now, I'm not saying you can't access them with the value dial, because you can, but having them front and center where your eyes can see them, you're less likely to forget to implement them prior to going to MIXDOWN. And that's my note, is that to pay attention prior to going to MIXDOWN. Understand that you already have all the mastering effects and everything you need on the main channel, on the main out. It's just that if you don't have the visual of it, which means if you're looking down at the actual screen itself and you're not accessing the Zen Beats, that's not at the front of your mind, and it's easy to forget, it's easy to overlook. And that's the reason I always suggest, is that once you get into the arrangement phase of your track, man, go to the Zen Beats, man. Zen Beats and the VerseLab together are pretty damn good, and I would suggest anybody that is looking to speed up your workflow, or even just explore your MV's parameters inside a little bit more freely than the screen allows, the onboard screen allows, check out the Zen Beats app, and you will definitely find the workflow and the fact that you have all this visual access to the compressors and EQs to each individual track, and the mastering effects on your main track is front and center for your eyes, and you won't overlook it, and you won't go to mix mode without doing your proper gain staging. So that's all I got to say about the MV1 VerseLab today and the MV8000. Do me a favor, peep out the link in the description. It's not a favor to me, but just a favor. It's a peep out the Land of the Rising Sound. It's a Roland documentary by a guy that I've been following for a while, and he really breaks down a lot of stuff that you got sitting inside your MV1 VerseLab, fellas. So once again, this is Nick Danger, the Art of MV, and I'm out. See you next time.